Hi, Dr. Chen. I performed bilateral total capsulectomy and implant removal on this patient. The capsule was very thick and this side was very tight, and I had everything freed up and I just could not get it out through the existing incision, and I kept enlarging it. And as you can see, it would have required almost a 15 centimeter incision, and I just quite wasn't ready to make that big of an incision, and I knew this implant was not ruptured. So I went ahead and opened the capsule and took that implant out, and you can see how thick that capsule is. There's some calcifications, that's what that is. So this side came out fine, but I really wanted to talk about this side because I know when I talked about double capsule last time, I know I lost pretty much everyone because it was not something that you could verbally describe and get a real good feel for what we're talking about. Clearly there's the outer capsule, and so what I'm going to do is go ahead and open the outer capsule. And so I'm just cutting that outer capsule open. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the outer capsule. And so here's the outer capsule, very thin. And then there is what appears to be another capsule surrounding the implant. And again, as I've said earlier, these should be the same implant. And so obviously this has got the rough texture and this has got very smooth. So there's a second capsule here, and I'm going to try to open this to demonstrate that second capsule. So I went ahead and made a little nick without cutting the implant. Like I said, that's not easy. So I'm going to go ahead and open the capsule. I have already freed up this little space, but you're going to hear this kind of the sound, and what I'm really doing is separating the capsule from the textured surface which it's stuck to. And that's what textured implants are supposed to do. It's supposed to make the capsule stick, and the theory was that if that happens, you're not going to get a capsular contracture. I don't know that that's true. As you can see in this other one, even with a textured implant, that implant has a very severe capsular contracture. So again, I'm just trying to open this up a little further without cutting into the implant. This is what I want you to see. See how it's stuck? And you can literally have to separate the capsule from the implant, and that's the sound, is the sound of the capsule separating from the implant. Now the question is, and I think this was asked before, why does the second capsule form? We don't know exactly, but we think it has to do with the initial seroma. So I know everyone is talking about, well, why do you have to put drains in when you capsule removal when I didn't have drains for the initial breast augmentation surgery? There is a lot of fluid even with the initial breast augmentation. We just choose not to put it in to avoid contamination, but when there's a lot of fluid, sometimes a second capsule will form around the implants. So there is the implant, just like the other one. Here is the inner capsule that probably formed as there was a lot of fluid. So it initially formed this capsule, and it took forever for that outer fluid to absorb, and by the time it absorbed, the body probably formed a second capsule. So this is what we call a double capsule, and I think this is about as good an example of double capsule as I've seen. And I think in the other case, what was happening is I was kind of showing it like this, and there was a patchy area that we were calling it a double capsule. So again, this is an example of a double capsule.